Well, that's the 17, 21. I don't know where that.
My age.
You're younger than me, I'm 39.
Yeah, sure.
You feel like it, no problem.
I just realized it's my anniversary tomorrow, so.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is the July 18th, 2023 RPRC meeting. 9:32. First order of business is the approval of the July 5th, 2023 minutes. Those should have been distributed with the meeting material by Jocelyn. Everyone okay with that? So I'll make a motion to adopt those minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have first up 15 Elizabeth Place for a pool. Don't see anyone waiting, so I'll pull that up. We can discuss. Relatively simple project in here. You know, the only thing that, John, I have for you, this is a pool on the side of the house. Is going out there, it looked like there was a lot of fill potentially that was brought onto the site. Did you see that?
No.
Okay, so maybe check that out, just see what's going on. It looked like it. It looked, yeah. It looked- To me, I'd say just go out and take a look, see if they need a fill permit. GIS depicts a stream at the rear. Did you know that?
No,
Did you see
I
that?
saw it.
Yeah. I couldn't tell when I
I
went out there.
couldn't, yeah.
Okay. So I don't think a wetlands permit is gonna be required. It looked like an intermittent stream or something.
It looked like it just began behind the property.
Agree.
And it's in a valley.
Yep.
Water parties.
Yeah, so more likely than not, it's not gonna need a wetlands permit because it wouldn't meet the requirements.
We'll take a look at it.
Yep. I had a note that they should include a zoning conformance table. 30-foot rear setback. They have to move the pool equipment, so it meets it. And 4 trees along the northern property line, I suggest that they replant those trees. They don't show a pool patio, so I guess we should just clarify that it's not being proposed. Other than that, no major concerns. Anything on your end? Yes, you said zoning compliance table, stormwater. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty straight.
Yeah,
So that was where the stockpile was.
yeah, all here, yeah. Take a look. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So with that all being said, any concerns about moving this to the building department?
No.
Just with the
Yep.
stockpile, was the contour of the property, when you look at that, does it, would one want to bring Bill to kind of level it out, or?
Maybe that's what was happening. I just don't know. I don't know. I want John to just take a look.
Okay,
Why would you bring Phil in to excavate it for a pool? Like,
the only reason you.
No, I
see
don't
is
know
the
what-
Contour of the.
I don't know really what's going on, so I'd let John just take a peek out what's going on. So I'll make that motion to send it to building, John taking a look at those issues.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. someone else join.
It's like the last person would probably be the next application.
Or 40 Sorrel?
Oh, no, 15 Elizabeth Place. See the last person in the waiting room?
Oh, okay,
Paolo
I missed it.
Alambi.
Yeah, let me just tell Paolo,
Okay.
thank you for
Yeah.
telling me. Paolo, you with us? You can't, you don't have your microphone on, but we didn't see you waiting here before we started discussing your application. Everything looks okay, and you were sent to the building department. We're going to have a letter of determination with your next steps posted to the RPRC's webpage later this afternoon, okay? If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, but all looks to be in order. We'll post everything and you'll see your next steps, okay? Oh, there you are. You're with us now. Did you hear that?
I can hear you.
Yep. You heard everything I said?
I didn't. No, I'm working on the road. I have no Wi-Fi connection, so I'm just.
Yep, we discussed your application. We sent you to the building department. We have a few comments that are going to be posted in a letter of determination that will be posted to the RC website later today.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah. On the side of the house, it looked like there was some disturbance where the pool's gonna go. What's going on there?
Disturbance?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
there was
looked
a
like
pile
there's-
there. Yeah, I put a pile of dirt there for my son to play with his trucks.
Okay,
All
sounds good.
right.
All right. All right.
Thank
take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
The
I
great
I don't think he would use DNC plan.
Yeah, so at least I'm not crazy. All right, well, you take a look and see. All right, so now we're gonna go to 40 Sarles and 42. They're two different properties, but we'll discuss them at the same time. So let's get Alan and Taylor. Hello, Teo.
Good morning, Mr. Kaufman. All
How
members,
are you? Good to
doing very
see
well,
you.
thank you. Nice to see you.
All right, so you've got two projects for 40 and 42. We've seen you like every other meeting now, right? There's always something on here.
I look forward to that. I enjoy working with you and your team. Thank you.
So you've got a couple of revisions here, which makes sense. I understand what's going on here. So let's talk about 40 Sarl Street first. Do you have the plans? Can you pull them up, or do you need me to do that?
No, I can do that. If you allow me to
Share? Yeah,
share my screen.
please. But let's just, while you're doing that, I'll set the committee up. So we previously looked at a single family house at this site for a larger house. So the applicant now wants to significantly reduce the scope and size of that house. So essentially that's what we're left with. Is that a good summary?
That is correct. Yes, the new cottage is about 1,700 square feet. It's a house. It's the main house here in 40 South Street. We have an access from the main residence. As you can see here, there's an easement that we have created. And this is the overall site plan. We have a drainage and septic. Well, so I think it's all working properly. And we have Adam Pilch assisting us with the project, who's joining us now.
Yes, I'm here. Took me a moment. I'll just say septic system, We've actually we've done deep hole tests there. They were witnessed by the health department as well. Wayne Schneider was out there and we witnessed it. We still do have to do the percolation testing, but the soils look really good.
Hey, okay, show us the elevations.
Yes, briefly, the floor planning here, basically, we have a large open room that has a cathedral ceiling, and then we have 2 bedrooms at each end. 1 bedroom suite and 1 bedroom suite, and with a little entry hall. And the elevation, you know, it's quite simple, very cottagey-like stone with a tile roof. That is the front elevation, the approach, and in the back it opens a little more because of the view. So we have you know, a set of windows and doors here to the rear, and the 2 bedrooms flanking this larger space.
Great.
Is it stone? Or
The
shingle?
whole structure will be stone.
What, you would have some of the stone that we can look at?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that some of that stone is being used in the main house of the residence in 40 South Street, so 42 rather. And yes, we do have that stone. We can show you pictures or send it to you or get you samples actually.
And what color is the roof and the trim?
Yeah, the trim has a gray tonality, and the roof actually is a deep brown. I do have a reference of the roof, which is a Ludovici tile that I can actually show it to you in an image if you give me 1 second here. The roof, yeah.
And is there a landscape?
This is the type of roof here. I don't know if you can see my screen yet.
That match the main,
Can you see my screen here?
Yes, yes, we see it.
Yeah, it's a Ludovici tile, so that is about the color that we are using.
Sue asked, does it match the main house, the roof?
That is correct, yes. And the stone again, you know, it's a warm stone with a warm trim, unlike this one that it shows in this image, the brown. But it's a gray and it looks really nice. And we will keep the feel of the main house.
Yep. By any chance, do you have easily access to the previous elevations from the previous approval or no?
Yes. I can actually do that.
Show Sue what the old one looked like, right? Or do you not care?
well, when
Oh, she doesn't care. Forget it. But it's just a much smaller house.
oh,
Let's see. So this is my comments. Smaller house. Tree removal, if you're proposing any, that should be shown on the site plan, Tao or Alan. Site grading, landscaping plan. County Health Department. You're gonna show building height and maximum exterior wall height. It will be fine, but you should note it. And we talked about the access agreement, John and I, on our memos. Anything else besides stormwater you want to discuss?
No, grading,
Yeah.
driveway profile.
So it all looks good, a little bit more detail we need to see, but the concept seems
the
fine.
architecture is beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of property.
Right.
It's not going to be visible by anyone else.
No.
Yeah, it's fine. So I'll make a motion to send this to the building department.
Obviously, no wetlands.
No wetlands here. Anyone want to second that? Larry, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, one down, now 42. If you could pull that up too, Teo, but we approved previously a pool and pool house very far away from the main house. In fact, it's closer to this new, oh, right there where Teo is. So that was where the pool and pool house is. I always thought it was a little bit odd that that complex was so far removed from the main house. So I guess they felt the same way and they're coming back to revise the plan to show a pool house now much closer in the rear yard of the main house. Makes total sense.
Yeah, and actually, this is the way that the original house had the pool situated, as you can see here. Initially, the original house, you know, from many years back, the pool had an approximate location. We're just changing the type of pool to a little more free form, like you can see here, with a little waterfall and amenities of that nature. And it's much smaller than the approval that we got before, because now the structure really is it has just a little open space, as you can see here, for a kitchenette, you know, like a little serving bar. And there's no cooking facilities, there's no sleeping accommodations of any sort. A changing room in here, a bathroom, storage, and just an open lounging space.
Yep, it looks beautiful.
You can see here, very simple.
Yep, and that matches the main house and the other building as well in terms of stone and roof.
Totally, we'll have the same roof. We already have it on site, and the same stone, the same trim.
Yeah. If you could go back to the site plan, and this is really for Cromwell, was you could see the pool house, Mike, is located in the front yard.
Yeah.
A piece of it extends beyond the plane of the main house. So
It has to be 3
what
times.
the code says, it has to be 3 times a setback, which it is,
Yeah.
and it has to be on a property that's 3 times the minimum zoning
Which
lot
is-
size, which it
It
is.
is.
So it's permitted the way it is
It is.
depicted. Tree removal, Teo, I didn't know where the tree line exists.
Yeah, there's a tree removal permit that we got from the planning board. And there are a couple of 2-3 trees in this vicinity, which is part of that approval.
Okay, so there's no more new trees that need to be removed, no amendment to the tree removal permit.
That is correct. There's no new trees. They have all been approved by the planning board. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So then I'll make a motion to send this, anything engineering wise.
Typical drainage.
Okay. So then I'll make a motion to send this to the building department.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, guys, you're set.
Thank you so
So
much.
we'll post
Mr.
everything.
Coleman.
Yep, we'll post everything later today for your next steps.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman, board members. You have a great day.
All right.
Mr. Cromwell, have a
Take
great
care.
day too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Alan.
Oh,
Next is 4 Sunrise Drive. Let me get them ready. So this, okay, let's get this. Yeah. Let's get them. John, get connecting. John, you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you fine. Okay, so 4 Sunrise is up. Do you have the plans? Can you share them with us?
Yes, I can share them. Let me just click here. Okay.
So I see, John, you've got
Okay.
another application on here, right, today?
Oh, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, just for,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna pause the YouTube. I have that up as well, so it's,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
turn-
perfect.
turn
All
it
right,
off.
yep, sorry about that. All right, great.
So we'll move the other one you have today, so you don't have to hang around.
Okay,
okay.
all right, great.
On first. All right, so we took a look at this. The applicant is proposing a this is the garage extension, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to walk through the scope or do you want to?
Walk through the scope.
Sure.
Yep, that's helpful, thanks.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just start with the site plan. So essentially at this location here, there's an existing 3-car garage. And I'm gonna just jump over here. So the owners are looking to add an addition that has ADA accessibility for a family member that will need wheelchair access. So the goal of the project was to create an elevator connection off of like the ground level, so that there'd be access through the garage to an elevator that would go up to an ADA accessible family room. And then I'm just gonna jump up here. Okay, so then there'd be an elevator and hallway connection, and then that would take us to a new addition over the garage that would be an ADA accessible space. On the prior, now Adam, I had sent like an updated layout based on some of those preliminary comments regarding kind of reducing the size. There's a larger wet bar area, but basically we're proposing actually to reduce the size of that. And then providing an ADA accessible bathroom space, and then having a gym space, and this would all be open, connected into the existing house as is. I'm just going to go to the elevation views just to kind of explain the location of it. Okay, so this is the existing front elevation. And actually at this bottom left-hand area here, this is the existing garage. So it's the space above that they're looking to add that addition. And then over here, so it's this section right here that they're looking to add over the existing garage space. And then
That's very well.
Oh, okay, all right, good. Yeah, so that's a good explanation of everything. You know, our original comment when we reviewed this is, John, it looked like it was an apartment, which is okay. It's just a different approval process. So I guess you've talked to the building inspector. Is that what happened?
so yeah, so the contractor on the project had met with the building inspector to review that. So yeah, the owners aren't looking to have any sort of private accessory apartment type space. So the one comment that the contractor got back from the building inspector was basically just reducing the size of the wet bar area. And that's what this latest update that we had emailed over yesterday, that was that layout update on that.
Okay, and then I saw you said that the originally submitted floor area calcs were not right. Included some basement space that shouldn't have been counted.
Yes, if I could explain that, I'm going to go over to the floor area calc sheet. So it's down here. Okay. Okay. So on the original submission, there's this large area over here, which actually is a crawl space. So it's a very shallow height crawl space with mechanical equipment. So it's not finished, it's not livable. And that was actually counted on the original submission, which was adding a significant amount of square footage. So the revised items that were sent yesterday clarifies that, but there was a lot of square footage in this space that is not livable floor area.
So this basement though counts because it's what, exposed? Is that?
So you know, this basement is a walkout in the back here.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, based on, you know, on the floor area definition, I mean, this is a fully exposed wall in the back. So this is and this is already part of the existing house, but this is a finished walkout. But this right corner of the house is all below grade. And this is actually just a shallow crawl space area.
Okay, and then the land coverage. So I quickly looked at your response, which was that the tennis court is the reason why you're above the maximum, and that's it, all that is legal. Yes, no question. The issue is you're proposing new land coverage, right?
So yeah, so let me actually go to the site plan and then
It's small, but
So yeah, the back elevator shaft is
Right.
extended new. I mean, one question, is it possible if they were to reduce some of their walkways to get basically the land coverage to remain the same as it was with the approval on the tennis court? Would that be a way for that coverage to get approved, basically
We could
staying
talk-
as is?
we could talk to the building inspector about that. I think in the past said no, that you'd have to bring it all the way back to conformance. So worst case scenario, you go to the zoning board. I think you have a very good argument here. You need access, you're providing it for a family member. So you'll get the variance, but that might be the route you have to go.
Okay.
Let's see what else I have. Health
By the way,
department. Yeah.
You don't see this house from any.
No, well, maybe
No.
from the garage side,
No.
there's a house over there.
You don't see it. You can't
Sure.
see this house from any place
Sure, all right.
because of the foliage.
Maybe, I thought I saw the neighboring house, but it's okay. It still looks nice, John did a good job here. Anything engineering wise you need to do?
Just, you need a health department determination on that new space.
Adam, in your
Yeah.
first paragraph, you talked about seeking a permit from the planning board. Is that no longer?
Yeah, the applicant says they don't have any interest in getting it to be an accessory apartment, which is fine, so then they'll just need to address the building inspector's concern.
So what's
Gonna change?
what's the difference between an accessory apartment and
Rental.
what they're doing,
Well, right now, they're just gonna create some new floor area,
right?
and that isn't like a house addition.
Okay. So there's no real kitchen, there's a wet bar, right?
Right, exactly.
And then there is a bathroom, that's okay. So if they had a kitchen, then you're kind of
That's what the building,
creeping into that.
that's what I suspect the building inspector, just eyeballing it, it looked like John and the homeowners were setting it up for an apartment, which is okay,
It's fine.
right?
Just
Right,
it's the
but,
approval process.
but
that's all.
apparently, look, they don't want it, and then they'll satisfy the building department that it's not.
Okay.
All right, so any questions on your end?
Nope,
Ron?
nope.
Okay, so, we didn't vote, so I will make a motion to send this to the building department and zoning board if necessary. I'll second it. And that was Cromwell, all in favor? Aye. All right, thanks, John. Now we're gonna go out of order because John has another application on the agenda today, which is 15 Wampus Lake Drive, so let's move to that. If everyone's okay with that. And this application we saw on our last agenda, I think. So John, if you could bring that one up.
Okay. All right, the screen's just loading up.
This was a property that had a lot of driveway, and as a way to deal with the code, a good chunk of that loop was being removed, the shaded driveway areas. So I had a couple questions about access to the existing garage, and I'm taking it from your response, John, that they don't use it as a garage, it's more of a shed. Is that what's happening?
Correct. The accessory, and is my screen showing?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this area, this standalone accessory garage, they don't need as a garage for automobiles. There's actually an actual attached garage that would need car access. So, but this separate one would not need car access.
Got it. And then you and I just didn't, you didn't understand what I was saying. On the, let's call the side of the garage furthest from the house, the back of the garage, there's a big gravel area behind there too that you probably, over there. So you just didn't identify it, but it exists.
Okay, yeah, you know, it wasn't documented on the survey, but that area would get all returned to
Right,
just
yep.
grade grass area.
Okay,
You're talking about, kind of roughly
Yeah.
in this area here. Yeah, okay.
that's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then, and I guess there's just some cross communication that one part of the plan showed there was no tree removal, but then you also showed 2 trees coming out, so I'm assuming the trees do come out, and that's looks fine, you know. And then the pool enclosure, are you proposing it around the pool? Is that what you were saying in your response?
So, oh, sorry, this is just zooming in. Sorry, just running a little slow. All right. Okay, so for the pool, I'm sorry, the pool enclosure,
Pool fence.
oh, yep, the pool fence is proposed to run off the corner of the house here
Okay,
and encapsulate the
All right.
backyard area.
so that's fine. You'll just include a detail of the fence. That's fine.
Yep, okay.
Engineering issues.
They addressed most of them
Yeah,
already. I
yeah.
think they just have to do some soil testing.
All right, so John, just the last point is, the homeowner called me last week and said he might want to keep the driveway, and that's okay if if he wants to go to the zoning board of appeals for the coverage. Did you follow up with him and see
So,
what he wants to do?
Yeah, so I did speak with him, and we haven't got a final determination from him yet, but there, it's kind of 2 parts. He does want to have basically a plan in place if he cannot get the coverage approved on the property for the existing driveway, to have
Okay.
a working plan that essentially what this application is presenting. And then he
Yeah.
was going to decide if he just, wants to actually try to apply to keep the existing driveway, which, I mean, he recently bought the property, so it's not like a driveway he put in. This driveway's been there for years and years.
Yeah.
So I'll connect with him in terms of like if he wants to
So-
pursue that route or not.
So then why don't we deal with both issues here, where we can say, we'll approve the plan with the driveway, and we'll approve the plan without the driveway, and then, the zoning board of appeals will tell you which direction you go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then essentially the owner would have an option if they do want to pursue
Yeah.
that route of the driveway, or if they decide they don't want to, they're okay with taking out the driveway and pursue the smaller driveway.
How do you feel about that? Does it affect the stormwater plan at all?
No, if they're designing the stormwater for the pool.
For the new.
it's the
Right.
increase.
Yeah. All right,
By the
so,
way, this is the original Lawrence Monroe house.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
this was the only house on the 130 acres.
No
I was
kidding.
up there.
It's a really nice spot.
It had a beautiful
Yeah.
view over
Yeah.
Locust Pond,
Yeah.
and Lawrence built it probably back in the 60s.
Didn't realize.
And he had a driveway that came all the way up from 128.
Oh, my
And then he
God.
had the nursery behind. it.
No
It was a
kidding.
nursery.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
This was the original house.
All right,
And
so,
that driveway was there back in 1980, I remember.
Yeah.
You're the engineer on that project, right?
Yeah, but I also worked for Carmine.
Yeah.
I lived in that house.
yeah,
And I worked on the property years ago.
It's up high, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's overlooks Locust Pond. Beautiful spot.
Wow.
On mine or Michael?
Well,
One of the two.
Lawrence's father was his father and his mother's original house. The whole family grew up.
How much property was that?
133 acres.
So,
all right, so just to wrap up, so I'm going to make this motion that we approve the plan, keeping the driveways if the applicant is able to secure the gross land coverage variance from the ZBA. And we'll also approve the plan as it's depicted here, with the driveway being removed should the applicant not get the ZBA variance or wish to proceed with this application regardless. Anyone want to second that?
also,
Larry, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, John, so you could, so now the homeowner can go either way.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'll touch base with him and get their feedback as to the direction they want to go.
Okay, sounds good. Take
Okay, all
care.
right. Yep, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for accommodating the two applications together.
Sure.
Okay, all right, take care.
All right, so now let's go back in order. So that puts us Carolyn Place. Okay. And do we have anyone here? We do not, so I'll pull up these plans.
Ooh, a wetland.
There we go.
Finally have something to do.
Let's pull it up and share it. Anyone
Where is
watching?
this?
Not too far away from the last one. Shares.
Comes up as Chapel.
Yeah, it does go right.
That's
into the edge.
regions, the line goes. right.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In fact, does Carolyn extend into Newcastle? I think it does.
Yes.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
Part of the-
Yeah.
Big part of Carolyn.
Oh, it's just north of the club. Okay.
yeah.
It's routes.
No, this is not Ralph's. So this actually good. So this shows what is, so they built this already. And you can see it here. So you've got the patio, the water feature. So this is like a bubbling little brook that goes to the pond that is already there. So this is what, these are the photos, the area we're looking at. So since the pond exists, right, and all these improvements are within 100 feet of that pond, it needs a wetlands permit. How significant this is, you know, is debatable. We can discuss that with John's input here. So it definitely does need the wetlands permit. They'll have to mitigate it. My comment showing utility connections, there's power going there. I don't know how that happened. And then just want to make sure that septic is nowhere near here. I didn't know what that was.
So there was a pond
There
and they
is.
put all of that in.
They built this patio.
And now they are seeking a permit retroactively?
Yep.
Got it.
Yep,
Okay.
that's
And
it.
they must have put in all those rocks and fill above it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They created this whole
Probably need
feature.
a fill permit also.
Maybe, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that too.
And also an understanding of how much impervious surface was created?
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm saying things you've already identified.
No. That's exactly what we're saying. So,
The annoying part here is. Building department has to take a look up there.
Okay.
Probably a year ago.
Yeah.
And the owner wanted to just repair the existing wall around the edge of the pond.
I see.
And I said, okay, if you keep no disturbance of
Right.
soil, you just.
Nothing new.
Fix the wall.
Repair.
And then you get.
A repair.
then you get.
Oh, so that wasn't there when you saw it a
No.
year ago? Oh, and
And
now they want
Repairs.
to sell.
We've seen this before.
Sure.
Yeah,
Alright,
want to do and then.
So the question is, how
But
do
they asked first,
Right.
you know, about a minor repair. We were good to them. We didn't have to go through a whole process, repair them. And then this.
Right. So how do we want, where should the review occur? Is this something the conservation board?
Yes,
I agree.
yes,
Okay.
there will be a site visit.
Yeah,
And who's gonna check out the fill? Is it engineering or is it?
Yeah.
It's gonna have to do a fill permit.
yeah, if that's what.
It's a lot of fill, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
But I know
think so.
all those rocks were there, was just a little
Yeah.
pond, a little water.
I don't think so. But the grade comes down, so I don't know how much. Fill, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's changed.
All right, so the way I think we should deal with this is we'll call it an administrative wetlands permit with conservation board review. This way, because I don't think it needs to come to the planning, board, right? Yeah, okay. So, admin. Wetlands. Yes. CB. We talked about the fill plus the other comments. So I'll make a motion to send this to the conservation board.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes the most.
At this point, do we give them instructions for what they should be bringing
Yes.
to the conservation board?
Yes,
So obviously,
it will be quantifying the amount of disturbance, the mitigation plan. Yep,
the wetland buffer,
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
thank you for.
All right, next. 6 hard scrabble.
Yeah, you put it words.
Okay, I'll just ask him. Ralph, are you here for 11 Whippoorwill? Ralph, are you here for 11 Whippoorwill?
I am, yes,
All right, we're not up yet. Just hang tight.
no problem.
Okay, 6 hard scrabble circle. Let's pull that one up.
Hard scrabble the name of a family? I don't know, I wonder where it comes from.
Yeah, don't scrap.
Makes me laugh every time.
Okay, so this is an existing house with single story garage. They're proposing to put an addition on top. Or above, I should say. And
Like 20 by 10.
yeah, it's not huge, so what it does to the elevation. That's main house existing. Here we go, so this was 1 story. And they're adding the dormers and the roof, and. Let me see if I gotta have a picture. Of existing house. Yeah, so see that's what it looks like now. And that's what it will look like.
No problem.
Yeah, no, that was my thinking. Any concerns engineering wise?
This, our health department.
No, department, yeah, looking at bedrooms, et cetera. Yeah. So. I'll make a motion to send this to building.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Bring those neighbors in.
Yes, now we're up. Mike, do you mind just telling Jocelyn to let everyone in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, minutes. I hope they bring.
Josh, we're ready.
Yeah.
Mike, do you mind just telling Jocelyn to let everyone in? Yeah. Hello, come on in. You grab a seat.
Where should we go?
Yeah, grab a seat.
I see why we waited outside.
Yes, there's not enough room. Hello, everybody.
Morning. I believe Meg is also on her way.
You don't want to sit there.
Oh, yeah, even, it's right there. Don't take this one.
Okay, is there a seat? Oh,
No,
No, good.
I'm sorry.
No,
You
no
can-
problem. Please stop wherever you like. Yes.
I'm Randall Frank. I just want to say hi. Thanks. Sure. Asian's the following day.
Yes, no, not at all. All right, Vladimir and Ralph. We're ready to start. If you are. What we've been going through here is a back and forth, just to get the committee up to speed. This was originally reviewed by the RPRC. The RPRC sent this application to the planning board. The planning board remanded it back to the RPRC, so we're here now. Subsequent to that last planning board meeting, we've received several communications from neighbors expressing concern about the project in general, plus about regarding access to the site. I've spoken to the town attorney who is going to recuse himself because he has a relationship with one of the other properties or previous property owner. So I believe the best course of action would be to send this back to the planning board for us to review this application. Then have the planning board hire special counsel to review the project.
Okay,
Go ahead, Larry.
so. I'm remembering this from my fifth, this was an existing approved building lot.
It is a building lot existing approved, maybe not, it's just very old. So whether there was a subdivision that was approved by the planning board, probably not.
Yeah, I thought when the applicant purchased the property, the understanding was that there was an approved building.
I think that's probably true.
Okay, so, that's one of the driving reasons that we sent it back, subject to
Yes,
getting, engineering sign off on. the
Yes.
access.
yes, and I would say those facts are in dispute.
Okay. Okay, all right, so,
Yeah, so my motion would be send this back to the planning board, let the planning board hire the special counsel. And then we can get a better handle on the project itself. It's certainly where it is right now is beyond the scope of what we typically deal with here.
sure. John, have you looked at the access since the planning board meeting? Remember, this was the one,
Oh, I know the street.
yeah, and there was a concern about getting access, getting fire and,
Yeah, that was one of my comments, that they should have
but nothing's really been changed or presented
No.
since then.
nothing's been changed.
And it was also like.
Well, I believe the plans we have that Vladimir and Ralph submitted now show a hammerhead at the end. Am I correct?
That's correct, they do.
Yeah.
So
So,
Ralph, that
I didn't
hammerhead,
see a resubmission since the original, so
okay,
Ralph, the hammerhead would be in compliance with what we need for, police and fire.
We will, it has to be, we have to make it. If it's not, we will do that. Do you want
And
me
there's also some discussion, Ralph, about accessing this property from another street. That's no longer,
no, that was never
that was never,
discussed. No, my comment was talking about fire protection.
okay, got it.
do you want me to pull up the plans?
I think if it's going back to the planning
look,
board, I think we're just.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
let's
where
see how the
it's-
vote goes. If we're all in agreement that, it's beyond the scope of this committee, then, it's a moot point
Can
today.
you just clarify what's in dispute?
Whether or not this lot has the ability to traverse and access the site via Whipple Lane. Which is a big deal.
that's a legal question.
It's a legal question, and that's why Roland said, send it back to planning, hire special counsel because he can't do it. Figure it out.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Sure, Vladimir,
Adam?
of course.
Adam, during the planning board meeting, one of the planning board members, I forget who, and the town attorney, both said or posed the question and made a comment that, my client bought this property in good faith with an approval to build a house on it. So why is there now a different set of review standards being applied to this application that wasn't applied to the previous application? It doesn't seem fair.
Well, it's not.
Nothing has changed.
It's not a different set of review standards. It's the information that we've received. That's what it's based on. Right? We received
What
several.
information is that? Was that information not available during the previous project?
Exactly.
And what is that information?
This was information from the neighbors disputing the fact that this lot has access to Whippoorwill Lane. So that needs to be dealt with one way or another.
Well, wouldn't the original maps show whether it has access or not?
No, because it's a private road, so it's not public road. Right? If it was a public road, it wouldn't be an issue.
So, help me out here. So there's a building lot.
There's a lot.
Well, my understanding was that there was a building lot and I was the one who said, the client applicant bought it in good faith. So if there is an assumed building lot, then at some point there had to be access or perceived access to Whippoorwill Lane, right?
That's correct.
Because it has frontage on Whippoorwill.
No, it has.
What is that?
Via an easement.
And just so I can
That's not a
understand it, I mean,
It's not a frontage.
we can talk
There's
about
an
this.
intervening piece of property.
We
Which they
can-
have an easement for.
Well, they have an easement.
But
over
to
it.
be used as it has been used, which isn't.
In the speed, right?
And what's the objection from just? So I get a little education here. What's the objection from the neighbors?
Why don't you speak for us?
Meg or Matt, you want?
So there's two questions about access. First is the actual having an easement over Whippoorwill Lane. And then there's a second issue as to whether they can use the easement that the neighbor granted, which is the strip of property that fronts directly. There's an easement which says they have the right to use it, but the easement doesn't provide that they have a right to improve it. So the plans to date have shown paving over this potential, over the east property,
Including a hammerhead now.
and including a hammerhead, but the person who granted the easement says, no, I grant you an easement as it exists. You have to use it as a.
So gleaning all of this, you just don't want new development.
No,
That's
that's not true.
okay, then help me out.
The size originally projected has increased to well over 800.
It's almost
8,000.
11,000 if you include
11,000,
basement,
yeah.
which is by a technicality been excluded by 2 inches on a certain perimeter. So it's 11,000 square foot house. It was in a housing zone where every other house in the surrounding neighborhood is roughly 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. And part of it is we all have, I have one of the smaller lots, 3,500 square foot house. This is a beautiful lane on a small road. And it's
A
beautiful.
small one lane road.
Yeah, and it's small and attractive because it's small houses set in this beautiful setback. So now someone's proposing, and then the same thing with a house below it on Stone Hollow, where they're concerned. Now someone's taking this lot. The previous plan had square foot coverage of roughly 5,000 square feet of coverage space. Now they've increased it. There's a pool, which is a separate application. The allowed square footage, this is a 1.2 acre lot, 2 acre zone. The allowed square footage is 10,480. With the pool, they're proposing 10,000, I could be off by 5 or 10, 10,398. They are maxing it out to the full. And then the house is 7,500, plus they've excluded the basement, which is over 3,000 square feet. They've excluded the attic. I can't see the measurements. 7.5 feet gets you, including the attic in the square footage. I'm guessing it's 7.2. I don't know.
But all of that can be determined on the site plan,
Agreed.
whether they're in compliance or not.
So as a
And
result,
putting aside,
Sure.
just so I get this clear in my mind, putting aside the access, for Whipple Lane, that could be whether, people like it or not, that happens.
understood.
People build large houses next to small houses all the time.
Understood.
So, I understand
And I guess sure, go ahead.
that concern, but it seems to me the real issue is the access.
Understood. So my thinking is, sure, people build big houses next to small houses. People take advantage of everyone else being a small house and taking advantage of that look and feel. I get it. I don't like it.
Mhm.
But in the same sense, there was an old building approval process. This wasn't, people weren't aware of this. That expired.
Mhm.
That's over and done. That's old history. There's a whole new permit. That one expired back in June. And I see no reason why I should say, okay, you want to push, you want to play the legal limit on everything up to the max square footage, cut down most of the trees. I've learned the conservation easement in the town over tree cutting has changed because of this property, the amount of trees they cut down. That's history too. And so as a result, I'm like, okay, well then, if we're going to play it by letter of the law, the letter of the law is you don't have access on an easement. And in the last planning board meeting, which I watched on the tape, the applicant came in and said, I don't see what's changed. This is the same size as the last building. This is the same scope as the last building. Well, it's not. All the data is vastly different. It's much bigger, it's much different. And I was somewhat frustrated. They came in with that opening to all of you in this meeting and it wasn't questioned, and that's fine. But they came in with that. And then the only information they gave for why it was a problem to go back to the planning board was undefined financial impact. Now, in that last meeting, all of you said, this is a safety issue on the lane. We want to search it. Our RPRC's forte is not safety, it's the planning board's area. But it was sent back in deference to the applicant for undefined financial concerns. That frustrated me too. I wanted to sit with the most important committee to review this as a planning board. So that's why we pushed back and said, there is a safety issue. But not only do we question access to Whippoorwill Lane, we also question the fact that building a hammerhead and even paving 9 Stone Hollow, it's not their property. And so 9 Stone Hollow has to make an application. 9 Stone Hollow has to be part of that, because covering up their road takes up their square footage coverage. So that's my point.
And they say again, they say you can't pave my property. That's a letter that they've written. And they believe they didn't grant it. And if you read the easement itself, it says nothing about improvements.
And this stuff wasn't available last time.
Like I was saying, it's beyond what
Yeah,
we're capable of
that's fine.
dealing with here, so.
Well, it was just good to.
Yeah, no,
And I'm not,
that was helpful.
I don't
Here's
want
a
to
flavor.
be,
No,
and
no,
I understand your point.
I get it. No, I get it.
So I'll make a motion to send this to the building, to the planning board.
Wait, Adam, hang on, Adam.
Yep. We're in the middle of the vote, Vladimir, hold on, so, who
I
seconded?
did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Vladimir, yes.
Again, I don't understand zoning, so the house is, that the house that's being proposed is zoning compliant, so, let's not muddy up the conversation with questions of the size of the house. This, from the town's perspective, this is, the problem has been one of access to the site. And now it's being sent back to the planning board to deal with the very issue that the planning board said we don't need to deal with. So I don't fully understand what the planning board is going to discuss now. This is a legal lot. How can you have a legal lot without access to a street? So all these issues about hammerheads and paving on Whippoorwill Lane, this is all the town's requirements. And now if you're saying that, well, we don't have a right to do any kind of paving on Whippoorwill Lane, then What are we going back to the planning board for? It seems
Discuss-
very convoluted and kind of circular.
No, it's not. But look, like last time, if you want to appeal this decision, you can do that at the planning board. But, you know, we voted, I think it's clear from what we discussed today and from the concerns of the neighborhood that this needs a harder look at the planning board. That's just what we concluded today here.
Adam, I have a question. The easement is an access easement? Is that correct?
You're asking me?
Yes.
I don't know.
I think you should have looked at the easement questions before you bought the property. That would be my suggestion. You guys are professional builders. You bought the property with the easements that have been out there in the public domain. You could have negotiated and spoken to your title company. So I think that's for you to figure out.
Sure. Okay, there was a, you know, I believe the client bought the property with a building permit, you know, approval. So I think that was the misunderstanding, I guess we'll call it. Okay.
Yes, and possible that permit was issued in error. We just, you know, we don't know at this point. There's a lot of information out here.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get to the bottom of it. You know, we'll get your side. We'll get our special counsel to look at it, and we'll figure it out. What's what?
Okay.
All right. So we'll see you at the planning board. Vladimir, that's your next step. You know, if you want to just apply for the site development plan approval and include the pool back again or appeal it, you know, you decide, but I think it's clear that, you know, this needs to be addressed at the planning board. Okay,
Yep, bye. Thank you.
all right, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Madam, can you just note down there that I voted and I live on the lane?
Yes.
Okay,
I
I
will
just
note
wanted
that.
to make sure.
I'm not trying to be emotional about it, but it's 35 feet as my property, and your point is completely valid. You're allowed to build the variances,
Yes.
but I don't feel the need to, I just find it so out of scope with everything.
Yep.
I don't feel a need to go
And look,
along and.
I think legally it'll be determined whether Whipple Lane can be paved and put a hammerhead in
Right.
and
And then the board,
and what the rights of the access are, and the facts will be the facts, and
Appreciate that.
and that'll drive the decision.
right, and we can talk at the planning board about the location of the house, whether additional screening needs to be provided.
I know, fantastic. And you know, when it wasn't raised is hitting Whipple Lane is one thing. I hadn't seen his proposal they submitted, but the hammerhead is sitting on 9 Stone Hollow's property, I imagine. Another issue.
Right.
Like, if someone came to me and said, I'm building a hammerhead on your property, I would go, but.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, look, that hammerhead's gonna benefit every one of you.
It will, but I wouldn't want it on I have one little small lot. I don't want a hammerhead over my lawn. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he was gonna build a hammerhead on his property, he wouldn't be able to, because he wouldn't have the square foot.
Yeah, he doesn't have any capacity even.
Plus, he wants a turnaround in the middle of their front yard. That was the thing. He didn't design it. He designed it, say, oh, I'll build it on someone else's property, not mine. And then the person said, what are you doing? You can't even pave my property. And you've put in front of the planning board plans which show paving my property. You know.
And the number of curb cuts, like in the town, right, you're only allowed one, and you can't do the circles anymore either. So it's sort of an interesting issue.
Thank you for
Sure.
for listening.
Yes.
I understand.
All right, so we'll see you all at the planning board.
Thank you.
When is that?
We don't know. They have to
Okay.
submit.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What will happen is it will get posted on the town's planning board website, and if you haven't signed up for the planning board e-news, sign up, and then the agendas will be emailed to you. At some point, there'll be a hearing and you'll all get something in the mail, but we're gonna start our discussions before that notice goes out. So, you know, take a look at what our agendas are if you want to be involved from the very beginning.
Can I ask just a basic question I think I spoke to you, Mike, or someone, but the previous applicant cut all the trees down in the lot. And right now, the lot and part of their application required planting of native trees along the border. Obviously, the previous applicant's gone.
Yep.
Sold it to them. That permit closed in June. I look out across, like, next to my property of 5-foot whole stumps,
Yep.
weeds, there's a big empty garbage can.
And unfortunately, that's not gonna get dealt with until this property gets developed.
Yeah.
Unless there was
Yeah.
a safety issue.
Right, if, let's say the applicant abandoned the project,
Okay,
and wasn't in front of the planning board,
then.
then
okay.
that's a further discussion of how do you mitigate those impacts. Right now, we wouldn't make them plant anything because they're in this process,
Understood, okay,
and we would have them plant after they're
As part of
done
the site plan.
regrading.
appreciate that, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Excuse me, have they done perk tests on that property yet? Or anything like
I
that?
don't know, I don't
Because
know,
they are in the.
probably, but I don't know. Yeah.
It's such a steep grade too. It's like that.
Good question.
Okay, to be
Yeah.
continued.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, so we're gonna adjourn this meeting at 10:38.
Moves it like 150.